Hello dear students, we are again meeting here for the biology subject, and last time we have discussed about we have started the first chapter, that is the reproduction in lower and higher plants. And in the same lecture, that is in the last lecture, we have discussed and we have studied about the reproduction in the lower plants. Mostly in the lower plants, the reproduction takes place by asexual way. That means asexual means where there is no union of two gametes or the cells, and hence only one parent is involved, and the next generation what we got, that means the next plants which are the exact copy of the mother plant. I am saying mother plant only because single parent is involved in the reproduction. So whatever the characters are obtained in the next generation are exactly similar to the mother plant. That means we call as a clone. It is a cloning. You must know about the cloning. Last time we have discussed. So the asexual reproduction where there is no union of the two gametes or two cells. But here now today we are going to see the sexual reproduction. Let us brief. We have the last lecture. That means the asexual reproduction we have discussed, that is the fragmentation in the algae like the Spirogyra. Second one we have discussed, that is the zoospore formation. That is in again algae, which is the Chlamydomonas exam. Next one, that is in yeast. You can see that the budding is the example where birds like the structures are given after the maturity of the mother plant or mother cell, you can say. And budding, we got the new number of the birds from which each bird new plants develop. And the next one we have discussed about the higher plants, how they reproduces by asexual reproduction. It is commonly known as a vegetative reproduction, because vegetative reproduction where the vegetative part is utilized for the regeneration, and hence the part which is vegetative like the root, stem and the leaves, which are utilized for the reproduction. And we have seen and we have discussed that already these are two methods of vegetative reproduction. The first one, that is the natural, how the naturally they are reproduces by utilizing the vegetative structure of the plant, while in the second one, that is the artificial technique. So the first one, that is a vegetative by natural method where the root structure is there, root part, where the auxiliary birds are there and they propagate into the new plant. For example, Ipomia, that is a sweet potato. Then second one, that is the stem. So commonly utilized, that is the bougainvillea or the rose. As you know that these stems are utilized, where the essential thing is that the auxiliary birds should be there. Vegetative birds are there and they propagate into the new plant. And the third one last, that is the leaf. Leaf part is utilized. Of course, again the vegetative or the auxiliary birds are present on the margins of the leaf, and the common example is known as the Bryophyllum or the Kalanchoe. So here the birds are present at the margin, and at the maturity takes place, these birds they sprout, and on the main plant the sprouting takes place and the new plant is generated. So this is what all are the new or the natural type of the vegetative reproductive methods. The same technique that is utilized in the artificial way, and mostly it is utilized in the nurseries techniques. Okay, so the first one as the cutting, it is known as the cutting. Second is called as the grafting, and third one is called as the tissue culture technique. So the first one, that is the where here the cutting, that means the parts are utilized the same, that is the natural reproductive methods of the vegetative. The first one, that is root, then stem and the leaves. Same plants are the resemble to that, which can have the characteristic so that they can regenerate or can give rise to the new plants, vegetative method. So root, stem and the leaves are utilized for the artificial technique in the nursery. Second one is not common, it is known as the grafting. Now in a grafting, last time we have discussed that the grafting, that is actually two parts of two plants, but there is no union of this nuclei, you can say, but only what the two parts are there. The first part where the vegetative birds or the auxiliary birds are utilized, and these birds they sprout afterwards, but these birds are transformed and they are inserted in the plants known as a stalk. So the bird portion is called as a scion, and the stalk plant, that is rooted, that is a rooted, which is still attached to the soil, and hence this rooted part is called as the stalk. So stalk part of the stem and the bud, they are inserted and give rise to the new plants. So in this way, this is the grafting method. And the last we have also discussed about that and studied, that is the tissue culture technique, where the single cell can propagate into the new. That means it is the micro propagation. That is, the single cell has the ability to regenerate or reproduce. It is called as the totipotency. So this is all about the previous lecture. Now let us start with the new topic, that is the the next part of the reproduction, which is called as the sexual reproduction. Now the sexual reproduction, as it is mentioned, now the two parents are involved, two cells are involved, and these cells unite. This, you can say, the cells are commonly called as the gametes. So these gametes are unite, and they after union, that means whatever the number of the chromosomes, the addition takes place, and the newly formed or the result of the two cells develop into the diploid form, that is called as a zygote. So zygote undergo many repeated divisions, and then it give rise to the new plant. So new generation, which commonly known as offspring. So offsprings are developed as a result of union of two cells or the gametes from two different parents. So there is not a single parent, but two parents are involved, and these two parents give rise gametes. And if you see in the plants, let us come to the point that in the plants, the flowers are the part which is specially for reproduction, and it is the reproduction is the sexual reproduction. Now here, what is actually flower? You can see that various types of the flowers, very decorative, they have very good or essence, or they have very shiny color. So many things are there in the flower. So it is a most decorative part. But what is actually flower? As we have studied in the yellow standard, you know that flower is a modified shoot. So shoot means what? The part of the stem, that is called as a shoot, and this shoot is specially modified for sexual reproduction. That means it is a condensed. So this shoot, it is a condensed. As you know that the stem consists of nodes and internodes. Same structure is there, but when the condensation takes place, it is suppressed. Just like that, it consists of nodes and internodes, but they are very in a small distance. Minimized. The distance is very minimized, and hence nodes and internodes are present. And on that portion, various types of the parts are produced by the flowers, known as the florets. These florets, you can see that these florets, they lie near to each other, very near to each other, and without gap. You can see that gap is not there, and hence these flowers, they produces the florets. There are totally 4 florets, 4 holes. Another word is that the florets or the holes. So 4 holes are present in the flower, and they lie near to each other. These 4 holes are commonly divided again into 2 parts, which are called as the accessory holes and the necessary holes. Accessory holes which do not take part directly in the sexual reproduction. That means the presence of this is essential, but they do not directly involve in the sexual reproduction. And the second part is that essential holes. Let us discuss these 2 types of the holes, how they are utilized for the sexual reproduction. So what I told that first, that is known as the accessory holes. In accessory holes, 2 holes are present. There it is called as the sepals and petals. Sepals and petals, these are the 2 parts or the holes of the flower. Those are known as the accessory holes. They are accessory holes of the flower. They do not take part directly in the sexual reproduction, but they only help. They are helpful for the pollination. We will discuss that pollination afterwards. But these 2 parts, which are made up of, for example, the first part or the first whole is called as a sepal, and sepal, that is your total union of sepal, it is called as a calyx. That means this is a unit, calyx, and the members of these units are known as the sepal, generally green in color. Okay, and outermost, as they are being outermost, they are protecting in nature. Second one is the petals, and the unit is called as a corolla. So corolla is the unit where the petals are present. Generally they are next to the sepals inside when the flower is in a bud condition. And this sepal, generally they are they are bright colored, colorful. Even they have the essence, and they may consist inside that, they may consist of the nectar. Okay, so both the parts, that is the calyx and corolla, are accessory whorls. Okay, now the next one, if you see that the two parts which I called, it is a necessary parts or essential wholes, which are called as the stamen, and the members of these stamens, that means it is called as the unit is called as the androecium. It is called as androecium. So androecium is unit of the many stamens, just like the petal sepals. The number varies from plant to plant, species to species, but the unit is called as the androecium, and androecium is also known as the male reproductive structure. So it is a male reproductive structure, and it produces small gametes, that is the pollen grains, which take part directly in the sexual reproduction. Okay, so this is the first one, that is androecium, made up of the stamens. Number of the stamens vary from plant to plant. And the last one, it is called as carpel. So this is a carpel, and mini or single carpel may be present. The unit is called as gynoecium. So gynoecium is a unit where it produces the carpels. Okay, so these two parts, these two parts are called now essential. These parts are called as essential wholes, while these two are petals, sepal, that is corolla, calyx, it is the accessory parts. Direct, they are not taking part for the sexual reproduction, but this gynoecium, androecium, they direct take part in the sexual reproduction. And androecium is called as the male reproductive part, while the gynoecium is called as the female reproductive part. So this is the international symbol for male and female. Okay, now this stamens and carpels, that means androecium and gynoecium, they involve directly in the sexual reproduction. Okay, now these parts are here, you can see in all detail, which is the longitudinal section of the flower, longitudinal, or you can say vertical section of the flower. In the vertical section you can see all these parts, that is the essential parts as well as the accessory wholes. Okay, now we have to see all the details of this androecium and gynoecium as a part of sexual reproduction. We are going to see in detail. So the first one, let us discuss about the androecium, that is a stamen. So stamen is like this, enlargement of this. So this is the androecium, single part, and usually it is called as a stamen. Stamen is made up of three parts. So here it is called as anther. This is called as a connective, and last one, it is called as the filament. So these are the three parts of the stamens. Filament, elongated part, which is attached to the flower here at the base, and then it has the connective. Connective is the point where the attachment of anther with the filament. So it is here, it is joined, so it is called as a stamen. While in the next one, that is the carpel, gynoecium, here again it is also made up of three parts. As per our this diagram, this is the gynoecium and this is known as a carpel. So number of carpel vary from plant to plant. So here it is a carpel, it is again made up of three parts, just like the stamen. Uppermost small knob-like structure, it is called as a stigma. Then the elongated part, that is the hair-like structure, cylindrical, and it is called as a style. And the last one, it is called and ovary. Inside the ovary, you can see that these are the ovules. You can see in this diagram, that is in a flower. So inside the ovary, ovules are present, where the reproduction takes place. That is the main part of the gynoecium. Okay. So these are the details of the androecium and gynoecium. Now we have to see the first one, that is a stamen, the structure of the anther, and what is the present inside the anther, what are the different structures, what are the different things are present which are related with the sexual reproduction. So let us draw a detailed diagram of anther. Okay. So let us draw the diagram of the anther. Okay. See this diagram. This is the TS of anther, that is the transverse section of the anther. What the anther structure is there? It is having the two lobes, and each lobe is divided into two sacs. So means it is a dithecous or bithecous, which consists of 4 sacs of pollen sac. That means inside that pollen grains are produced. Okay. So it is a tetrasporangiate. In another word, it is called as the tetra, means 4. Tetrasporangiate, that is the sporangia are 4, and they are enclosed inside this structure, which is having the about 4 layers. So outermost is the protecting layer known as epidermis. Epidermis is single layer, and each cell is having some barrel shaped structure. Okay. It is encircling total structure of the anther. Next, it is followed by endothecium. Endothecium also single layer, and it is followed immediately after the epidermis. Epi, that is outer, endo means inner. So endothecium, that is the inner layer made up of single layer. Then it is followed by the next one, that is the middle layer. Now middle layer, that is starting from the endothecium up to this rounded structure of the pollen sac, where the pollen grains are present. So up to the pollen sac, this extent, and hence this middle layer is made up of generally 2 or 3 layers in thick. In this way, these are the 3 layers which are covering of this anther or the pollen sac. And then it starts with the tapetum. Tapetum is again the single layer which is having somewhat elongated cells, that is the longitudinal cells are present, which are compactly arranged. And you can see here, these are the elongated, somewhat elongated cells, because this tapetum nourishes the sporogenous cells. Means inside that, what is present, it is the sporogenous cells. These sporogenous cells undergo afterwards into the meiosis. So this is very important point, that the sporogenous cells, which are called as the microspore mother cell. Microspore mother cell that undergo meiosis. You know that mitosis and meiosis. Last time, that is in 11th standard, we have studied about this. So mitosis, it is a simple equational type of the cell division, while the meiosis is the reductional type of the cell division. Reduction means what? Cell divides, and the newly cells are formed. Actually, from one mother cell, 4 cells are present, and this each cell now consists of the chromosome set, which is reduced to half. Suppose in onion, the cell consists of 16 chromosomes. 16 is the diploid set of the chromosome in the cell. And when it undergoes meiosis, it produces from one cell 4 cells. And each 4 cells consist of now half set of chromosome. That is the haploid cells. And same thing here, these sporogenous cells undergo meiosis. That is the reduction cell division, where the chromosome number reduced to half. And 4 cells are developed. So sporogenous cells are also called as the microspore mother cell, MMC, microspore mother cell. So this microspore mother cell undergo meiosis, and this development takes place during this, which tapetum provide nourishment. So these sporogenous cells, they obtain the nourishment, food material from the tapetum, and hence tapetum cells are somewhat enlarged and they are bigger in size as compared to the other cells. Okay. Now come to the point that these sporogenous cells or the microspore mother cell undergo meiosis, and from one cell, this one cell, it produces 4 cells, and each cell now called as pollen grain. This is called as the pollen grain. Okay. During the dehiscence, that means when this anther obtain maturity, this anther that ruptures, dehisced, you can see dehisced, and this pollen grain that comes out. But before that, what happens? The meiosis takes place, and from one cell, the reduction cell division, for example, this is what diploid cell, and the newly formed cells, they are now called as the gametes, or you can say it is a pollen grain. It is a pollen grain. Now this pollen grain undergoes certain type of the changes during or before the maturity. When it ruptures, that means the anther, when it ruptures, before that, this pollen grain undergoes some certain changes. For example, let us discuss first about the structure of pollen grain. Structure of the pollen grain. Here, so this is a microscopic structure of the pollen grain. And pollen grain consists of two layers. Pollen grain consists of two layers. Outer one layer is called as an exine. Exine is outermost layer, and it is very thick. In many cases, the exine, outer layer, is very thick, and generally it is made up of sporopollenin, where the exine do not disturb with any type of the chemical which is coming outside of the body. So sporopollenin, it is a exine. The chemical structure of this exine is very thick and do not alter or change due to any activity of some chemical influences. Okay. Then inside that, before that, the exine, which is our outer covering, it is not intact. It is not intact, but it leaves some gaps. It is called as the germ pore. It is called as a germ pore. So germ pore is a gap of the exine, that is for outward direction. Some gaps are present, and this number of germ pores are depending on that species, on that flower or on that plant. And according to that, the structure of exine or the structure of the numbers of the germ pore, there is again second type of the classification, that is the taxonomy. It is dependent, but that is not our in our syllabus. But the germ pores are present and the number varies. Just to remember that germ pores are the gaps of the exine. Followed by the inside, it is called as intine. So next to the exine, intine is present, and intine is the inner type of the layer, which is made up of cellulose plus pectin. Cellulose and pectin. So in this way, these two layers are present, and inside again you can see that the large nucleus and cytoplasm is present. So this is the structure of pollen grain, and this pollen grain, before the liberation from the anther or the pollen sac, this pollen grain undergoes certain changes, what I told before. The first one, that is, it is called as the pollen grain development, which is known as a male gametophyte development. So this pollen grain is converted into male gametophyte, and certain changes takes place. This is called as the male gametophyte development, and this male gametophyte development takes place at two places. That means when it is present inside the anther, and when it liberates outside, and when it falls or shed and then falls on the stigma of the ovary, then the further development continues. Okay, so let us discuss about this male gametophyte development, where it takes place in the two stages. The first one inside the anther. Inside the anther, what happens? This pollen grain, I am not repeating again this structure total, but just you see here that this is a pollen grain structure. It is a mature type and consists of single nucleus. It undergo the first type of division, which is called as the mitosis. See here, the first formation of the pollen grain, it is a meiosis type. It is what? Meiosis. That means already these pollen grains are the result of meiosis, where the reduction cell division takes place and pollen grains are developed. Now meiosis does not take place, never takes place again, but it undergo the another type of cell division. It is called as the mitosis. Now what happens here? This pollen grain, which is now single structure, it is divided into two unequal divisions. It is two unequal divisions. The larger one is called as the vegetative cell, and second one is called as the generative cell. So these are the first division, which is of course it is a mitosis, and the division is unequal. Vegetative cell is larger and generative cell is the smaller one. Okay. Now this condition that the pollen grain is now two-celled condition, and hence this is the first type of the development of male gametophyte. The first stage is what? It undergo mitosis before the liberation, and this pollen grain, which is a single cell condition, undergo such a type of the development where it divides into two unequal parts. Larger is vegetative and smaller is the generative cell. Now in this condition what happened? This pollen grain that transfer or liberate out from the anther, and then it shed, and afterward it received by the stigma. It may be of the same flower or the different flower, doesn't matter. But when this pollen grain is received on the stigma, then the further changes takes place. That is, the remaining changes takes place that leads for the male gametophyte development. Okay. Now what happens after that? When it received by the stigma, this two-cell condition, so this generative cell and vegetative cell. Generative cell, it again divides by the same type of the cell division, is called as the mitosis. And here what happens? Vegetative cell remain as it is. Vegetative cell remain as it is, and this generative cell divides into two. What happens here? Generative cell, and now this generative cell divide give rise to two nuclei, which are called as the male gametes. This is called as the male gametes. Remember, this is the generative cell which undergo the division. Of course, it is a mitosis, and these two cells are now called as the male gametes. Male gametes are non-motile, means they cannot move. They are stationary. For that purpose, what happened? The further development takes place. Now remember, this takes place on the stigma. Suppose this is a stigma, as in the ovary. We have discussed about this. So this is the stigma, and these are the pollen grains. The development takes place, further development takes place here at the stigma. Okay. Now these two male gametes are there, and what happens to the next? This intine comes out through this germ pore. Intine comes out through this germ pore. Minute pore is there, and from that the intine comes out with carrying these two non-motile male gametes. So what happens here? The tube comes out from this, and here this intine comes out as a tube-like structure. This tube is called as the germ tube. It is called as the germ tube, and vegetative cell remains as it is, but the generative cell, these two male gametes, they carry along with this germ tube. It is also known as the pollen tube. This is a pollen tube. Sorry, it is not a germ tube, but it is the pollen tube. through the germ pore it comes out. So the pollen tube comes out along with these male gametes. These male gametes are non-motile. Now this development of the male gametophyte completes. Means what here? Male gametophyte development starts on the or inside the anther, and these cells, that is the sporogenous cells, microspore mother cell, undergo meiosis, which develop into 4 cells which are haploid. So single N indicates haploid, 2N indicates diploid, means 2 sets of chromosomes. Where here it is a single N that indicates haploid, that is a single set of chromosomes. Okay. So this each cell, now it is called as the pollen grain. This pollen grain undergo male gametophyte development. So the development of the male gametophyte takes place at 2 different places. The first place is its own, where it is produced from the sporogenous cells. Pollen grains are produced inside this pollen sac from the sporogenous cells, and inside this pollen grain they activate. That means before the liberation, the male gametophyte development takes place. What happens here? This structure, which is a single nucleated structure, it divides with the mitotic type of the cell division, and it divides unequally. Larger one is called as the vegetative cell, and the smaller one is called as the generative cell. Now vegetative cell, vegetative nucleus remain as it is, no change further. But the generative cell divides into 2, and this condition, that means when the pollen grain is of bi-celled condition, 2-celled condition, now this pollen grain is liberated out, the half development of male gametophyte is complete, and this pollen grain carried towards the another plant or another flower or on the same flower, it doesn't matter, but it receives by the stigma. It receives by the stigma of the female reproductive structure, that is the carpel. And the further development, that means you know that here it is a bi-celled condition, it is liberated, and then bi-celled condition pollen grain that falls on the stigma. It receives by the respective type of the stigma, and then this, because of some chemical stimulation, the further development of the pollen grain takes place. That is what vegetative cell remain as it is, and the generative cell again divide to develop into 2 male gametes. These male gametes are non-motile, and hence this intine comes out from this pollen grain. Intine comes out through the germ pore, and it elongates, which is called as the pollen tube. Now this pollen tube carry these 2 cells, that is the nuclei, called as the male gametes, and the further development takes place during the double fertilization. We will see that later on, but the development of male gametophyte is completed in 2 stages. First in the anther, and second is on the stigma, receptive stigma of the same flower or the different flower, doesn't matter. So in this way, now the male gametophyte is ready for the sexual reproduction. Now what about the female reproductive structure? So the female reproductive structure we will discuss to the next lecture, and we will see that in details. First, just like the anther, the structure of the anther we have discussed already. Just like that, the female reproductive structure, that is the ovary and this carpel and whatever the structures are present, we will discuss, we will study that detail. And the female, same thing, that is the male gametophyte development takes place. As like that, female gametophyte development also takes place, and then when the both gametophytes are ready for the reproduction, then the double fertilization takes place in angiosperm. Okay, so let us stop here, and we will see in detail of the female reproductive structure to the next lecture. Okay, thank you.